Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple but really cool bar stool. So the first thing I did, I already went ahead and did it. I went into my right view, then I went into view, image plane, import image. And then from there you're just going to go to where you have this image on your desktop and upload it. And I will of course link this in the box below for you guys. So now we're just going to jump right in and we're going to make the first little pillar of this stool. We're going to create a polygon cylinder. I'm going to hit W to move this up and hit R to scale way up. And then we're also going to scale it down just a bit. That's pretty good. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to my channel box and I'm going to make the caps set to 0. And I'm going to set the subdivisions to 30. So now we've got our first little part of the stool. Now I'm going to go into Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop box, Option Box. And I'm going to set it to multiple edge loops, and 2 is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click right there, but before you click out, hit R and scale those right to the edge so it makes a nice crisp finish. And if you want to preview smooth, you can press 3 and see it's already looking pretty good. We're going to go back by hitting 1. So now I'm going to make this little middle rung. By doing that, I'm going to create a polygon torus. And again, I'm going to scale that way up, if I can find it. And as you can see, it's really thick. So we're going to go in and we're going to change that to, let's see, 0.1. Actually, I think I'm going to go a little bit thinner and do 0.07. Yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, and for this little object, we are actually finished with that, as easy as that is. So we're going to go up to Mesh and Smooth. Now we are going to take, for the bottom ring, it's actually not as round as the middle one, so we're going to use a different object. We're going to use a polygon pipe. And I'm going to go ahead and click that, hit R to scale out, and hit R to scale in like that. Hit W to move that up, about right there. And I'm going to go ahead again and change that thickness to about 0.1. That looks awesome. And just to make sure everything is proportional, I'm going to go ahead into my top view, zoom out, hit 4, and we're going to make this one, this is the middle rung, I'm going to hit R and make it about that size. And then I'm going to click the bottom rung and make it a little bit smaller just so it's all proportional. Okay, I'm going to go back to my perspective view, hit 5 for shaded mode, and so far it's looking pretty nice. I'm going to go down to the bottom rung and I'm going to, hit Z to go back. If you ever need to, just hit Z and it will undo your last move. So I'm going to do a Mesh Tools again, Option Box, just to make sure you're still in that multiple edge loops. 2 is perfect. Now I'm just going to go in, hit right there, and that looks good. But now I want some more on the top. So I'm going to do Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, and go to Equal Distance. Okay, and let's put one right on the inner circle. And you know what? Right on the outer circle too. Hit 3, that looks good. I'm going to do that same thing on the bottom, just so it stays nice and flat, almost right up to that edge. Hit Q, and there we go, back to object mode. Hit 3 to preview smooth, and that looks really nice. Hit 1 to go back, and I think I'm actually just going to smooth this out. So go to Mesh and Smooth. So we're almost there, guys. I'm going to go back up to this, and now we're going to focus on that top seat. which looks like wood, so it should be fairly, not very smooth. I'm going to go to Control D to duplicate, hit W to move up, move it right on up. Now I'm going to hit R, scale that in about that much, and then hit R again to just make it taller. So that looks perfect. This, let's see what it looks like, preview smooth. It needs another edge loop. Oh, actually, you know what? I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Mesh, Smooth. That looks really nice. And this one, Smooth, also looks really good. And it's honestly all personal preference. So if you wanted to go in and make this edge loop, you know, a little bit lower, have it look more round, maybe a little higher, have it look really, really flat, it's all up to you. So I'm going to leave mine like that, and I'm going to hit Mesh, Smooth. And now we have got our seat looking pretty good. So now we're going to focus on these little legs. I'm going to create a polygon cube. Hit R because it's really, really tiny. Scale it up and then also scale it way up. Okay, make it a little bit thinner and also thinner in that angle. I'm going to go into my right view, zoom out. Actually, I'm going to go into my front view. Okay, so now we can see all of our rungs and our leg that we've got going. Oops, there we go. So as you can see, it's a little bit tall. I'm going to shrink it down, actually to about there. And I'm going to move it right there. Hit F to zoom in. And hit 4 for shaded mode. So we're going to make sure it's right there, right on the edge. Hit 5 for shaded. Go back to perspective and just see what the thickness is like. So, oops, hit Z to go back, if you did that. So it's a little bit thick. I'm going to go ahead and hit R and scale it in to about there. Hit W, move that over so it's nice and in the middle. And I'm going to hit R again and scale it in that way. So that looks perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my front view. And I'm going to go ahead and right click, hit vertex, take this top one, hit W, move it down. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move it right about there. So if you hit 4, you can see that it's just right on the bottom of that middle rung. I'm going to hit 5 for shaded mode, go back to my object. I'm going to go to my perspective mode. And I'm going to go in, oops, hit Z, hit 4 for shaded, right click, go to face. I'm going to get that face and go back to your right view, or sorry, front view. And now you're going to extrude it. So you're going to hit Control E, hit W to move up to right about there. And I'm also, oops, hit Z. That's a very helpful tool, as you guys can see. And before I extrude again, I'm actually going to rotate it so it looks a little bit more smooth. I'm going to hit E, and I'm just going to rotate it ever so slightly. That looks good. Hit W, and let's move it. Actually, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control E to extrude again, hit W to move up, and zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see. I'll hit 5 for shaded. And we're just going to move it right about there. Hit E to rotate that face. Hit W to move it a little bit over, maybe a little down. And then I'm going to hit Control E, W to move up. And just right about there, hit 4 so you can make sure that the entire object and all of its vertices are covered and they're in the object that you want them to be in. And that looks good. Now, I'm going to go ahead, right click, hit vertex, take those vertices. Actually, I'm going to hit all 4 of these, or all 3 of these, hit R and just scale them in a little bit. Now do these, scale those in a little bit, and lastly hit those and just kind of thin those out. Okay, now I'm going to hit 5 for shaded. I'll go back to my perspective view, and it looks pretty good. Of course, we need some edge loops, so let's go right in, and we'll go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop, Option Box, go back to that 2, and we're going to go ahead and do one right there. That's perfect. And then another set right here, but we're going to hit R, and we're going to scale them out to the edge. So we've got a nice crisp edge. Go back to object mode. We can preview smooth that, and it looks really nice. Okay. So now, an awesome feature of Maya. Make this a little bit, looks like it got out a little bit. That's an easy fix. You can just go right into the front view, hit vertices, and just move those over. Okay, so a great feature of Maya. Oh, you know what? It looks like something happened here. It might have happened, I'm not sure if this is going on your screen too, but if you can see there's a little bit of noise, that blackness that you see, maybe. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, fix this, same routine, and I will meet you guys after. Okay guys, so I'm back, and not sure what happened, but you know, that happens in Maya sometimes. You're moving and making stuff, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got a little trouble. So I did the same exact thing, and I'll hit 1 to go back. And now all I'm gonna do, I've got my edge loops on both sides. I'm just gonna go up to Mesh and smooth it. So now we've got one of our legs, and I'm gonna show you guys a really awesome trick in Maya. So go to your top view, hit 4 for shaded or wireframe. We're gonna hit that leg, and I'm gonna hit W and D. So this is the pivot point. You're gonna hold down X and drag it to the center. Hit D again, and now, here we go. We're gonna do Control D to duplicate, hit E and hold down J, move it right there, and now an even cooler trick, do Shift D, and you're done. It's a really useful trick because you can save so much time. So honestly, it's looking really good. We're almost finished. Now, if you wanted to stop here, you easily could, but I can see there's a little bit of detailing right in those inner corners of the legs. So if you wanted to add some nail heads, it's really simple. You just make a sphere. We're going to scale it up, hit W to move up. I'm going to go into my front view, hit F to zoom in, zoom out a little bit, go to my faces, and just delete that bottom half. And I'm also going to hit R and just smush it a little bit because nail heads typically aren't that round. And now I'm going to go back to my perspective. I'm going to create a cube, scale that thing way up, make it thinner, hit W, move it up, go to my top view, and that's looking really good. I'm going to hit R and scale it in a bit more, and maybe a little bit that way. Okay, now I'm going to hit E, hold down J, okay, hit W, go back to my perspective mode, and before I do anything, I'm going to duplicate this, and you'll see why in a minute. So hit Control D and just move that out for now. Now, if you are trying to make a hole in an object using another object, it's actually really simple. All you do is hit the first object and then the second object. So the second object that you choose is always going to make a hole in the first object. If you're trying to remember it, that's always what I think. So first, second, you're going to go to Mesh, Boolean, and Difference, and see how it created a nice hole? So I'm going to hit this one, hit W, move it back, go to my top view, and let's move it over a little bit, hit E to rotate, hold down J, and go back to my perspective view, hit this, now that one, go to Mesh, Boolean, Difference, and there you have it, a nice little nail head. And it's a little bit thin since I deleted the bottom half of it, so if you want to add some thickness to any object, just hit Control E. Let's do maybe 4, maybe 6, that looks good. So go back to object mode, and there you have it. Hit W to move down, hit E to rotate, hold down J, hit R to scale way down, even more so, hit W, and you can put these wherever you like. I'm just going to put a couple here, and as you can tell, it needs a little bit of rotation, so that is super easy fix. You can make them however big you'd like. I'll do another one. So I'm just going to put these on each side of the inner legs, and I'll see you guys when I'm finished. Okay guys, so I have finished putting in my nail heads on all 4 sides. So now all we have to do is add some textures. So all you gotta do is hit the chair, or the top of the chair, right click, go down to favorite material, and I'm just gonna use a Lambert. And you can make this any color you'd like because we're gonna change it anyways in KeyShop. And now we're gonna hit all of these, shift, click that, right click, assign favorite material, and again, Lambert. And just do that. And always remember to save. It's really, really useful. So we've got this finished. I will meet you guys in KeyShot. Okay guys, so I just imported my bar stool and it's looking really nice. Yeah, I'm really liking how it turned out. So let's put on some materials. So I've already got this zinc pulled up. If you just scroll down under zinc, you've got zinc blue and zinc yellow. And this is all personal preference. I just really think that looks pretty nice. And the blue also looks nice. So it just depends on, you know, what you're going for. Let's go down to wood and let's pick, I think this fine grain will look really nice. Oh yeah. And I actually really like the lighting that KeyShot offers just from the get-go, so you don't even have to change it if you prefer this, but there are, of course, a ton of other options. Let's make this background white. Okay, let's make that, oops. And now we're gonna go into environment and let's just, let's try some stuff. So this indoor lighting, these top 3 are typically the ones I go for. Sometimes I'll use studio lighting. It just depends on what you're modeling, so you really just have to try stuff out. So I think that looks awesome, actually, and you can move it around, you can zoom in, you can double click on a texture if you don't like the way it looks, and go to textures, and you can actually change the scale if you wanted to make it more defined or less defined. It's all there for you to use. I'm gonna go back and just do one. I think that looks really good. And let's see. Yeah, I think that looks really cool. So now all you have to do is render it out, and I will see you guys when I'm finished rendering. Okay guys, so here is my final rendered shot. I think it turned out really well. It was just something simple, something fun, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please let me know. And if you have any requests, also just leave a comment and I will see what I can do for you guys. All right, see you next time.